To build the components that make up a laptop, mobile phone, sat-nav device, or even an e-cigarette, various materials are required. Among these are a number of metal elements that are commonly sourced in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the mining trade has for many years been used to fund brutal conflicts. Conflict minerals have been defined by policymakers under the umbrella term 3TG: tantalum, tin, tungsten, and gold, all of which are used to build the components of laptops and mobile phones. Ukraine possesses what are known as rare earths, such as lanthanum and cerium, used in TVs and lighting, neodymium used in wind turbines and EV batteries, and erbium and yttrium, whose applications range from nuclear power to lasers. Donald Trump sent a senior cabinet member to Ukraine this week. Trump wants a rapid end to the war, but has not made it clear if he will continue vital military aid to Ukraine, but has said he wants $500 billion in rare earth minerals from Ukraine. The bulk of Ukraine's coal deposits, which powered its steel industry before the war, have been lost. About 40% of Ukraine's metal resources are now under Russian occupation. Our first reading this weekend from the prophet Jeremiah sees desire, the human heart, as problematic. Philosopher Alasdair MacIntyre observes that the biblical point of view is such that being or becoming rich is an affliction, an almost insuperable obstacle to entering the kingdom of heaven. Capitalism is bad for those who succeed by its standards, as well as for those who fail by them. MacIntyre's observations are obviously contentious and controversial, but they are right in line with Christ's warning against riches. How hard is it for the rich to enter the kingdom of heaven? Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo also possesses lithium, nickel, and cobalt, and this region has seen conflict for decades. Paramilitary groups, allegedly supported by Kagame, president of Rwanda, a neighboring country wanting a slice of the pie, fight for the control of small-scale mines. The conflict presents a host of long-term issues, but the bottom line is millions of deaths, unspeakable hostility, and widespread civilian suffering. The elites benefit from resource extraction, while the majority of the population remains dismally poor. The US and Europe have passed legislation to ensure that 3TG minerals are sourced responsibly. A 2022 book by Christoph Vogel argues that a single-issue focus on conflict minerals ignores local complexities and only really serves the tech companies themselves. Minerals do play a role in Congo's conflict, but are only part of the multi-dimensional overlapping conflicts that are deeply bound in colonial legacies and struggles for land ownership. In Vogel's view, the notion that Western companies and US-led regulation can save Congo quickly slips into white saviorism and is informed more by colonialist tropes than by the realities of the conflict. It may be comforting to think that buying from one massive US tech firm rather than another could end our complicity in Congo's forever war. But the reality is far more complex. In February last year, the EU signed a €900 million agreement with Rwanda to access mineral supplies, despite warnings that quantities of them came from the Congo territory via armed groups. The role of the president of Rwanda in the recent fall of Goma, the capital of North Kivu state in DRC, seems to give lie to his deception that his involvement in this part of DRC was to protect Tutsis from genocide killers. President Kagame of Rwanda was empowered by parties that now condemn him. The avarice of the international community has fueled the conflict it now laments. Luke this weekend shares one of Jesus' most famous sermons with a list of blessings and woes. Luke's community has lots of rich people. For Luke, reversing the oppressive order of the world is part of the work of Jesus. St. Paul, in the second reading to the Corinthians, declares that if Christ is not raised from the dead, then he is simply another in a long list of victims before and since. Resurrection faith declares that there must be hope for the victims in DRC and Ukraine. Resurrection faith understands the valleys and peaks that all of humanity experiences, but the same faith anoints us, despite complexities, to reverse the oppressive order hurting families in Congo and Ukraine. Amen.